Hi, and welcome to the Law Abiding American. My name is Bill. Today I'd kind of like to talk to you about the inflation we're seeing today and what my opinion is on what I feel the problem is. And in short, I think the whole problem is greed. Plain and simple, greed. Now there are some subcategories to this that I feel may also be partial causes or a good part of it. And that is the medical profession, lawyers, and insurance. Now, it used to be that prices used to follow employee wages, but that turned around quite some time ago. And for a while, wages were pretty close to what the pricing was out there. But this is not the way it is anymore. Employees' wages are pretty much stagnant. They're not getting any better, but yet everybody's charging more for their services. So where is this coming from? If people aren't being paid more, and my understanding is the employees are 80% of what it costs to run a business, but yet they're not being paid more, but yet everything's higher. That don't make sense. Now, I'll give you some examples here. General Motors. Okay, I did a little research into them and their upper executives. I believe it's the top six. The top six executives at General Motors make a combined amount of $93,359,673 a year. That's their salary. Now that doesn't include bonuses or additional compensations. That's just their salary. The CEO president is making $29,496,637 per year in salary. That's not her any bonuses or anything else. I remember reading one year all of that combined. I think she was making $121 million a year. Why? Our president of the United States does not even make that much. And he puts in more work than anybody else. But the president of the United States gets last I heard it was $474,000 a year. Now, I understand, like, if somebody built the company and started out and they're making, high wages, they've earned it because they built that company, they started it. And I know that every company needs to make a profit. But the one thing they also need to do is make sure they have employees that are paid justly and fairly and compensated for the work they're doing. Because it is the frontline employees bringing in that money for that company. It is not the upper executives. They're not out there on the front lines dealing with customers. No. They need to start making sure employees are paid. Now, I work for a company here in Phoenix, and back in 23, after we were hit real hard with that inflation because of Biden, I requested a specific raise amount for my salary. Didn't even match what the inflation rate was at the time. I asked for 10%, the inflation rate was 14. I got 5% raise. I was busting my tail to keep customers in that company that were fed up with the way they were being treated. I broke my back to keep these customers and make sure they knew that they were respected and appreciated. But they only gave me a 5% raise. The next year, I requested a 15% raise, again, because we were still at 9% inflation. What did I get? I got a 2.5% raise. Yeah. Didn't even match the year before, the inflation rate. But I hung with it. Waited one more year. I told them this time, I even let them know up front, I want an 18% raise. That's for the 5% that I didn't get last year, or in 23. The balance of the 10% for 24, and another 10% or 8, I believe it's 8% for 25. They came back all excited. Hey, we're going to give you a 3% raise. So I said, that's not what I asked for. And he said, well, that's what you're getting. So I decided, I'm stopping all training. I mean, they don't appreciate what I'm doing for this company. That's fine. The supervisors and need to be training our associates. Let them do the training. When they have questions, let them go to them. So they came at me and said, hey, you need to stop this. And they started giving me the attitude like they might let me go. And I said, well, okay, so I'll work with them. So I did. When they came to me, I didn't go pursue it or anything like that anymore. But when they came to me, I did. But I finally had enough. And I finally went in because I was getting some work done on my dental work. And when I got that completed, I went to my supervisor and I said, hey, this coming Friday, I'm done. I'm retired. I don't need this anymore. And I actually received the greatest compliment from one of the customers that day, my last day there. Because I had spent 3 days fixing what several other people had not done. This customer was so angry, it was not even funny, but I saved him. And that was my last day. And he told me that he called one of the supervisors and said, one of your greatest customer service representatives is retiring today. And I basically let the customer know that they were not paying me for what I was worth. And they weren't. So I'm done. I retired. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. I wanted to work till the end of this year, 2025. I just was not going to take what they were doing and not compensating for it. So I left. Now, there's a lot of companies out here that do this. I'll give you an example in the medical field. My doctor, he's a cardiologist. I go in for an office visit. Now, maybe at most, they'll spend 40 minutes dealing with me all total. Maybe. Even if it's an hour, okay? Maybe. But usually in an office visit, what I see is this. You go in, usually ahead of your scheduled appointment time, and sign in. They call you in. The nurse takes you back, takes your weight and whatever else, blood pressure, medicine, whatever. You spend 5 minutes with her doing all this. Excuse me. Then you sit in that room and wait, and wait, and wait, and then your doctor comes. Your wait could be anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. You don't know. Your doctor will then spend 5, maybe 10 minutes with you. Okay, so now you've got 10 minutes, or say 15 minutes invested with seeing your doctor. Well, now I know they have to fill out some notes on you, so that take them another 5 minutes or 10. Then they got to get you all submitted for billing, another 5 or 10 minutes. So what are you looking at? About 35, 40 minutes, okay? They are charging for that office visit $560 for that little short of time. I don't care. In my opinion, that is nothing but price gouging. Absolute price gouging. I had to go back in one time because he wanted me to wear a monitor. He didn't have it available at the time. So I had to go back in for another appointment to have a nurse's assistant place a monitor, a heart monitor on my chest that was supposed to stay for a week, but it came off after 3 days. I got the bill for this and was billed over $1,500 for that 10-minute office visit to wear that monitor that I had to return back to their office. I was billed over $1,500. Tell me that's not price gouging. That's extreme price gouging. I don't care how you look at it. And that is not right. These are why we have these problems out here. Our medical profession out here extremely price gouges everything out there. I don't know if they're going on, or what. Another example is in 2019, I had to get my knee replaced. I got the bill from the hospital the surgery room and the recovery room, about 4 hours. That bill was almost $90,000. Why? That's ridiculous. That doesn't include all the other stuff, your anesthesiologist and doctor. No, that's all separate. Then you got your night in the hospital. My total bill was over $120,000 for one night. I don't care. In my opinion, that is extreme price gouging. And if they don't start doing something about the medical profession, we're going to have major problems out there. Because people on Medicare and fixed incomes like seniors, they can't keep absorbing these higher medical costs and out of pocket. I mean, our Medicare, when we get on that, that should cover everything. Hospital, doctor visits, dental, vision, whatnot. We shouldn't have to be going to these Medicare Advantage plans and all this stuff. That should all be covered. There should be set prices to go in there and get it done. No deductibles. That's the way it should be. But we don't have it that way right now. And, you know, I don't know what else to say to do about it. Now, when I was talking about lawyers, here's the problem with that. Now, I understand everybody wants to make money and, you know, people get hurt, accidents happen, things happen. But why are you going after millions of dollars in damages? That's ridiculous. You looking for a free ticket, free ride? Hey, if it's an accident, hey, cover my medical. If I have to take off from work, cover my loss of work. I mean, you know, I'm not going to worry about pain and suffering. I don't care. As long as I can move around and walk and whatnot, I'm good with it. Just take care of my expenses. Okay? It's an accident. Forgive them for it. Don't worry about it. And when you do that, God's going to actually take care of you. Now, in auto insurance, that's another problem. Because back, I was in California, okay, and about I think it was around 1975, they came to us and said, hey, you know, too many people don't have auto insurance. You know, if we get it made mandatory, then we can lower the rates on auto insurance for everybody, and you would be good to go. Now, many other states had already done this, but the people of California, they said, oh, hey, that's great, you know, lower auto insurance and whatnot. So they voted and they passed that bill to make auto insurance mandatory. Well, it was just a few weeks, the auto insurance rates tripled. Why? Because now it's mandatory, you're locked in, you gotta buy it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And my opinion is they need to reverse that and make auto insurance no longer mandatory. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to be financially responsible, but you're going to gamble whether or not you're going to have a major cost or not. But as soon as you make things where it's not mandatory, people are going to drop it until they can get lower rates. And that's a simple fact. Our insurance companies are making billions of dollars a year in profits. Okay? No, that's not right. Now, I've seen these ads out here for insurance. You know, you go out on these online insurance things and they're going to lower your rate to $35 a month, $40 a month. Well, I've checked that with several different ones. The only amount I'm saving for my current provider right now is about $50 a month. No, I don't think so. You know, State Farm is a good insurance. They've always treated me well. I'm not going to argue with them. I got to tell you, when I moved to Arizona, I can't tell you how many windshields I've broke. I think it's been about 9 all the years I've lived here. And 5 of them were within the first year because of rocks and things getting picked up and whatnot. But still, their prices are way too high. I have a 2019 Colorado Z71 four-wheel drive, and I have to have a $2,000 deductible on it for an insurance rate that is $1,400 a year. And I don't even drive it 1,000 miles a year. Now tell me that's not price gouging. I have no accidents, no tickets, no nothing. And I'm a better driver, to be honest with you, than 95% of the drivers on the road because of my advanced training. So we've got to work on getting these prices corrected. Either the people need to have more money being paid to them, or we need to get prices back where they belong. And like I said, I'm not against, companies making a profit, but I am against them being price gouging people out there so that these high execs can become multimillionaires every year, compounded by however many years they're in office. Like APS in California, I'm sorry, Arizona here. I mean, their top people are making, over $1 million a year. Why? They don't need that. That's ridiculous. But yet they keep nickel and diming us on our electric bill. Ridiculous. Anyway, so we need to get together. We need to start getting people paid for what they do. If they're not working, we need to get rid of them. But they need to be compensated for the job they're doing. And pacifying them or trying these little trinket things, no, that ain't going to work. Anyway, I appreciate your time and your indulgence with this long issue with why I feel we have this inflation, or a good portion of it. So take care. Thank you for following with the Law Abiding American. Have a blessed day.